All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, you see it on the screen. I'm sure you saw it in the thumbnail. We are going to be talking about OP01 Doflamingo. But we're going to be talking about Doflamingo in OP07 and OP08, really, because it doesn't change too much going forward. Now, it will change very soon, I believe, and it will get an upgrade very soon once the new starter decks, I think it's starter decks 15 through 20, once those release, then this deck gets another, upgrade. So we will talk a little bit about that, but let me not get ahead of myself. Let me give you guys a quick breakdown, tell you what we're getting into. First up, we are going to check out a video from the East talking about the new starter decks, okay? That's going to be a pretty decent portion of this video. We're probably going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes talking about the new cards coming out in I believe it's ST15 through ST20. There's not going to be a lot of spoilers, believe it or not, other than just the pictures, because I don't have everything prepared in today's video for a, how do you say it, for like a full, like, spoiler-style video. I'm waiting for them all to be released, and then I will have a video for each one of the new starter decks, and I'm going to try and even include a way to touch the decks up and improve them for new players so they can just hop right into a locals and start playing. But for today's video, we're just going to do a quick overview without going through really many spoilers other than just the pictures and the counts of what's going to be in each deck. Okay, so that's going to be first. And it's going to be a pretty big portion of the video, like I said, probably about 15 to 20 minutes. Then we're going to hop over to the page you see right here on the screen where we talk about Doflamingo. We do a leader breakdown and talk about how he's doing in OP07/OP08. Because it's actually the support he gets in OP07, which is what we're getting now in the West, on Friday. The support is pretty good, guys. It's really, really not bad. So that's like the first thing, right? We got to talk about that, and we'll do a deep breakdown and deep dive into it then, like a very comprehensive guide, or at least a pretty comprehensive guide at that point. Then we'll check out 5 games on the sim. We will check out the deck list that I'm running. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll wrap it up that way and do some final thoughts there, and then we'll finish off the video, with an art critique. All right, so you know what you're getting into. Let's do this, guys. Let's dive into this. Let's get straight into it, because we do have quite a bit to talk about. So first things first, I'll talk about this later once we get to it. Let me get this part over with first. Okay, I'm over on the One Piece, the One Piece TCG YouTube site. I will link this in the comment section below for you guys to check it out. But guys, we finally got a list. Okay, we finally got a list for each one of the starter decks. I'm still waiting for them to update their page so that I know every single card in there, like, officially spoiled, or like the official, like, card list of it on their website, and then I'll break it down more from there, and those will be their own videos. Okay, guys? And as usual, I'll have everything timestamped down in the general description, and in the comment section I'll have any links needed. All right, so first things first, guys. You can watch this video if you want to, but we're just going to fast forward straight to the lists. Okay, here we go. Let me move my head over for this. All right, sorry, guys. I'm going to have to cover them up. Bye-bye. All right, so, excuse me. Like I said, I'm not going to do a huge spoiler-style video here. I'm not going to break down every card, but all of these cards should be available to look up for yourself if you want to, either on my Discord or any One Piece Discord that has the spoiler bot in there. Okay, so hop on the Discord if you're not already on there, or if you have a Discord that does this as well, you can find it on there. So, real quick, I do want to talk about the good things and bad things I see here for each deck. Jozu, that's a good thing. 2K counter reprint. Marco, I think Ryuza is this guy's name or something. He buffs the White Grid Pirates. Kind of not a great card, but I guess it's cool in a starter deck. Izo, a searcher, excellent. We love to see that. Speedjill, Namuel, these are just vanillas. Haruta, very solid card, moving Dawn around. Fasa, and then some new cards down here. Now the event is not new, but these other ones are. Right? I don't think this event's new. Someone help me out in the comment section if this is like a reprint or something. Because like I said, I don't know what the actual cards are, but I don't think that's a new card. Okay, anyway. Now this stuff right here, we've got some new characters. I believe that's Atmos. We got Newgate. Or maybe this is, wait a minute. Is this King Do? I can't remember all their names. I'm sorry, guys. But whatever, and then Thatch, and then Ace. There are these are all decent cards. I will say, especially 2K counter, we'll take that every time. But this Ace and this new 7-cost Newgate, excellent. And I'm really happy to see some of the reprints. Okay, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to say that that Red, I feel like Red got treated pretty well. Now the next color, I don't think got treated that well. It got treated pretty well, but not as good as that red starter deck we just saw. Notice all the events in here. I don't even know what all of them do, guys, so bear with me. I have no idea. I'm sure one of them is a new Genesis reprint, probably the one-cost event. I'm sure one of these is a backlight or blacklight reprint, and I'm sure one of them is I'm Invincible. The rest, I have no idea. If you guys know, you can put it in the comment section below, but as I get the official, you know, recordings of these off, like once they update their site and have all the official, how do I say it, like translations down, I will review these, you know, each one individually. But for now, we are getting the Bartolomeo reprint. This was a promo card, and so is this 8-cost 10K. I believe these were both promo cards, and seeing promos get reprinted, that's always a good thing. Okay, this 4-cost Uda, very solid. And this new 9-cost Shanks, I know is very solid. Quick sneak peek on that one. This is a 9-cost 11K, comes into play, pops any rested character. Very, very strong. We like to see that. But one major thing is missing on here, and it's the 3-cost Nami. I'm sorry. I understand it is a film Straw Hat card, and hopefully they reprint it in the PRB set. And that's another thing, too, I want to mention about, you know, about the red starter set. There's no 7-cost Ace or 5-cost Marco, so hopefully those can see reprints over time or see them pop up in like a PRB set to keep their price down. PRB stands for Premium Booster. That's coming out sometime in between OP08 and OP09. Okay, so hopefully the cards you don't see in these new starter decks, hopefully you see them in the PRB set, because it was such a perfect time. I mentioned this in another video. It was such a perfect time for Bandai to reprint some of these cards that are super, super expensive, and it would drive the cost down naturally. Okay, but anyway, moving back to green here. I wish I saw Nami in here, the 3-cost 5K, pay 1 on play or when attacking to top 3 search for film. I wish that card was in here. It's not. Well, it is what it is. At least it did get a new Genesis search. I'm assuming this is new Genesis. You guys help me out in the comment section below if I'm off, but I'm pretty sure that is new Genesis. If it's not, that would really surprise me. And that's at least a searcher. Next up is blue. Whoops, I didn't go to... There we go. This got some interesting stuff in it. This got a nice 3-cost 4K, 1K counter blocker top 5 searcher or top 5 arrangement card in the Doflamingo. Really good to see that reprint. The blocker law, the little, you know, the 1-cost one. And then quite a few new cards down here. I don't know how many new cards are in each one, but I feel like this one got the most. It got a new Crocodile. It got a new Law. It got a new Buggy. It got Boa and Teach. The card, I think this Buggy is basically Perona, but a 2K counter body, and I think it's just a top 3 search. So this Buggy is solid. Sorry, there's going to be a little bit of spoilers, obviously, right, guys? This new 4-cost Boa, I believe she moves Dawn around and does a quick top search or something like that. This card's very solid. I can't wait to get my hands on this one. And the same thing with this Crocodile. I believe this allows you to reveal the top card of your deck. And if it is a 4-cost or lower, 7 Warlords of the C-type card, something like that, I think you draw it. Maybe you draw 2, and then you put 1 card on the top of your deck, so that way you set it for your leader's effect. So this is really solid. I'm not exactly sure what this law does, but it looks like Doffy's getting some really good stuff. And one more thing I have to mention is this promo Jinbei. Way back when a Doflamingo deck won back at, I don't know if it was like OP02, 3, 4, somewhere around there. I think it was around Gen Con. A long time ago. Well, a Doflamingo deck randomly won, almost like a rogue deck. It won, and it was running 4 of these Jinbeis. I believe it was running 3 or 4 of them. And it's a promo card. So when it first won, this card jumped up to like $100 a card. So I'm very happy to see that reprint, even though I don't even think the card is that good in today's, you know, in today's meta. I don't even think this card's that good. But at the same time, it's nice to see it get a reprint. Okay. Next up, we got purple. Let's go to right here. Purple got some... purple has basically shifted. So notice how green shifted from Eustace Kid with Supernova and the Kid Pirate stuff. It swapped from that over to film, which I do like that. I think the film stuff is very solid, especially for a starter, like a, you know, a new beginner level player. And purple, they have swapped over to Straw Hat Crew. I like that as well, but most of the best red cards... Or excuse me, I just did a Freudian slip there. Most of the best... Straw Hat cards are red. You know what I mean? You've got Nami, the top 5 searcher. Now this deck does have, I believe this Zoro is a searcher. I believe this Sanji, it has some kind of draw mechanic where it's like when attacking, draw a card. And I also believe that this new Luffy card can cheat cards into play like the 7-cost green film Luffy. Could be wrong about that. You guys bear with me if I am. I'm just kind of, and help me out in the comment section if I'm off, because I've seen all these cards, but at the same time, I don't remember what they all do. You know what I mean? These cards come out in waves, so I can't remember everything they do. But other than that, it's nice to see some of these promo reprints, like this 10 cost 12K Gear 5 Luffy. That is so brilliant. That is such a genius play by Bandai. All right, the people you want to get into this game are going to be people that watch the anime, right, or read the manga. So Gear 5 Luffy is a big selling point. Someone's going to come into a store somewhere in the world, if not many people will do this. They're going to be like, hey, I'm trying to get into One Piece, the TCG, and I want to play the deck that has Gear 5 Luffy in it. Okay, this one right here does. How awesome is that? You know, it's just like the perfect intro to the game card. And look what this deck does. It's a ramp deck, right? This is the 5, you know, this is the OP05 Luffy that you take the top card of your life and you ramp a Dawn. So, like, you're going to ramp up to 10 Dawn as fast as you can and plop down Gear 5 Luffy. That's going to feel so amazing for new players. You know what I mean? That's some really good stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Purple, and then we got my favorite color in the game. We got black, and they have changed from Sakazuki over to Smoker. Great call by Bandai. You know, Sakazuki was a failed experiment, unfortunately, right? And it is what it is. You know, they were trying to figure out what they could get away with, you know, with a leader in this color when it was introduced all the way back in OP02. But the cards they put in here, guys, are awesome starter cards. So they got brand news in here. You know, Virgo, that's a Navy / Donquixote Pirates type card, 2K counter. Suru is just an incredibly versatile 2K counter. This Kobe, for those who are not aware, it's a 3 cost 4K, 1K counter, pops a 3 or less. You have to trash a card for it, but you're popping a 3 or less. So with the leader's effect, you're popping a 4 or less, and then with Ice Age, you know, you've got all kinds of ways to combo it. It does have Ice Age reprint in here, and it's got quite a few new cards. It's got the new Smoker. I believe this is the new Sengoku, where you trash 2, draw 3. So you're kind of getting rid of 3 cards in your hand and getting 3 new ones, really solid, while filling up your trash and establishing a body very, very early on turn 1. And this new Tashigi trashes a card. Sorry, guys, I'm just giving a quick example of what they do. I don't remember all their effects, you know, verbatim yet. This new Hina, I'm not actually sure. I don't remember, but, you know, so this is an SR, so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty good. And then a new 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter, blocker, Garp. Awesome. I believe that's blocker. Again, you guys help me out if I'm off on this. The rest of the stuff in here is pretty mediocre. You know, you got a 3 cost and 4. I think all of them had a 3 cost and 4 cost vanilla, or some type of. I think that each set had 2 vanilla cards in it, and this one has a 3 cost and a 4 cost. And then everything else just seems pretty solid. This Helmeppo was never really incredible. It's a trigger. It's a 3 cost, 3,000 power, 1K counter. Trigger, when attacking, I think it is Dawn -2 or Dawn -3. And if there's a 0 cost or less in play, he becomes plus 2,000. So, pretty good stuff. All right, last but not least, we got Katakuri. So that's interesting, too, to note. We've got 3 new leaders, and then we've got 3 returning leaders. Like, Katakuri was like the original. Well, okay, actually, I guess this is technically a new leader. Okay, bear with me. None of them are new leaders. But what I mean is like a new representation for the new starter decks. You know, it's like, remember, in the original 4 starter decks, red was Luffy, now it's Newgate. Green was Eustace Kid, now it's Uda. Blue was Doffy. That one, or excuse me, blue was, wait, was blue Doffy? Hang on, now I'm having like a, no, blue was Crocodile. What am I talking about? Blue was Croc. Blue was Croc. And now it's Doffy. Purple was Animal Kingdom Pirates Kaido, and now it is Luffy. Black had Navy with Sakazuki, and yellow had Lin. Okay, so actually all of them are new leaders. So that's interesting. Now, they're not literally new leaders, but there's going to be new representations of the starter decks for the leaders. Really cool stuff there. And now, as far as this one goes, okay, it's got a lot of reprints. We know they all have a bunch of reprints. It's got Smoothie and Pudding in here. So, I mean, these things have pretty decent value, guys. I mean, I will say that I am impressed that Bandai has printed some. It looks like they're actually very playable. It looks like these starter decks are very, very playable. And I might have to do a challenge for myself playing these on the sim as is, right? Like just straight up from the starter deck and see how good they actually are. We'll have to see. And again, I'm waiting for the sim to get updated so that I can do that kind of content for the channel. And I'm also waiting for Bandai to update their site so that all these are properly translated into English. But really good stuff there. It looks like we're getting a new Lin, a new Katakuri, new Cracker, new Brulee, 2K counter Brulee, We are getting a lot of these are reprints, but then some of this stuff in the middle here is not. Okay, that's enough. Like I said, guys, we were going to spend a little bit of time on this. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. So just to give a quick overview of this area, I think Bandai is taking steps in the right direction, but there's a lot of cards that are still missing. Like, where's 8-cost Katakuri? Where's 7-cost Linlin? Where is, like, we got a 6-cost Linlin, not a 7-cost. Where is the 3-cost Nami? Where is 8-cost Eustace Kid? And I'm hoping those are going to be reprinted in the PRB01, which stands for Premium Booster Pack. And like I said before, I think I said it earlier in this video, it's coming out in between OP07 and OP08. We have to be patient. We have to be hopeful that they even choose to do it. There's no promise that they will, but, you know, wishful thinking. All right, that's enough. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program here. We're back here. We're on Doflamingo. Okay, oh, I got to move my face back. I don't like that. I don't like that. There we go. I can also probably make my big old head smaller there, too. There we go. Okay, Doflamingo. We've got a 5,000 power, 5 life leader here. Let me give a quick breakdown of what the leader does, then we'll jump into these deck lists. This is a 5,000 power, 5 life blue leader with Dawn ×2, when attacking, pay 1. Reveal 1 card from the top of your deck, and if that card is a 7 Warlords of the C-type character card with a cost of 4 or less, you may play that card rested. So, right away, how do we know it's on the top of our deck? Well, there are cards printed that allow us to peek at the top of our deck. Okay? First things first to talk about there is Perona. This is the perfect turn 1 play, whether you go first or second. Okay, now there is a new card coming out in that starter deck, the Marshall D. Teach card for whatever the blue starter deck is, and there will be a new card in there named Marshall D. Teach, and it is a 2-cost version of this effect pretty much, or it might be a top 3 search, I can't remember, but I think it's an activate main. It's not even an on play. You'll just always get to do it as long as the card survives. So really good stuff there, very interesting. But for now, Perona is our best friend. This is our perfect turn 1 play. It allows us to look at our top 5 cards and set them. So think of it, you have to consider ordering your cards. Let's just say it's turn 1. Okay, let's say we went first and it's turn 1, and with this deck, you do want to go first. Okay, guys, full disclosure, full clarity, you do want to go first. So with that in mind, turn 1 Perona, set your top 5 cards. Now, when you set your top 5 cards, the first card that you set is going to be the card you're going to draw on your opening turn. The second card is the important one, because that's what you're going to be able to play out with your Doflamingo leader on that following turn. Now, another thing you have to consider is certain cards have been printed now, like Edward Weevil, which allows you to draw a card on play. So let's just say that was in your opening 5 card search when you did Perona. So your first card you're going to draw for the turn, maybe get a 2K counter. And then your second card is going to be Edward Weevil. Well, make sure your third card is what you want to draw from the Weevil, and then your fourth card is what you're going to draw from the following turn, and your fifth card will be another 4-cost 7 Warlords of the C-type card. So very technical, very, very complicated, I know, but you'll get used to it. It is something you'll get used to. Okay, so the list we're looking at is, we're only going to be looking at one list today. Let me show you guys something real quick. This is in OP08. Okay, watch deck list, OP08. We'll sort by Doflamingo. I'm over on OnePieceTopDecks.com for those who are not aware. And this is a 600-plus player regional level event in what is this, Hiroshima. And check this out, guys. This is pretty much the best placing list. This one did get first place at a 165-player 3-on-3 tournament, and this got first place at a 20-player flagship. But this is the most accomplished one out of those two, in my personal opinion, and let's see what it does. This is the list we were just looking at. Notice what they're running. Very, very interesting list. I'm going to run through it first, and we'll talk about it. Oh, and another card like Perona I forgot to mention is obviously the 3-cost Doffy. Pause this, read this. It's the exact same thing as Perona. Now, let me read through this. They got 4 Mihawks, 4 Gecko Moria. This is the on-play Gecko Moria. There's 2 different ones on the list. 4 of the Blocker Doflamingo, 4 Perona, 4 of the Vanilla Gecko Moria, 3 Sanjis. Very interesting. 3 Pudding, solid card. 4 Weevil, 4 Croc, 4 Jimbei. This is a lot of these are OP07 down here. 3 Trafalgar Law, 2K counter. 4 Boa Hancock, 1 Gum Gum Rain, and 4 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Let's get the events out of the way so we can move on from there. This is just an incredible removal card. Okay, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger is just insanely good. Okay, it is a 7-cost that gets rid of 2 6-cost or lower characters. And it's not like combined cost. No, it's 2 different 6 cost or lower characters. And then the trigger can pop a 5 or less to the bottom of their deck as well. And this is not KO. This is bottom deck removal. It doesn't bounce back to hand. It does not try to KO. It does not trash it. It bottom decks it. This is very, very good against decks like Black Yellow Luffy. Excuse me. Okay, so really good stuff there. This is just a great removal card. And they're running it as a 4 of. It's that good. Gum Gum Rain. Now, he's only running one of these, but this is a 0 cost 3k counter. You trash a card from hand with this event, and then you go plus 3,000 for the turn. Really good stuff. And the trigger's not bad either. It'll bounce a 2 or less to the owner's hand. That's not really crazy, and this list is not even running Sengoku to do searches. And let me see. Yeah, it's got all 51 cards. It's not even running Sengoku to do, like, special shenanigans with that, like special tricks. It does what it does. Okay, now that we got the events out of the way, nothing too crazy there, just pretty solid staples. Now, as far as this stuff goes, 2K counters. Let's take a look at the 2K counters. 4 of these Mihawks here, 3 Trafalgar Law, and 4 Crocodile. So it's running 11 2K counters, and really it's kind of like it's running 12, right? If you count this one, this sort of works as a 2K counter if you think about it. Okay, so it's running 11 2K counters. It's got some. It only has 1 blocker currently. Okay, and that is something that the new starter deck, I think it's ST17 or whatever, I think that is going to really improve the list because we get access to a brand new blocker in Boa Hancock, the new 4 cost. I believe it's a 4 cost 6K Boa that has something very similar to a Doflamingo search. Sorry guys, it's like a fly in here. Okay, now what else? Gecko Moria. This card's very important because it allows you to get back a 4 cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea or Thriller Bark Pirates type card from your trash. So, in other words, you're going to want to counter out very aggressively with this deck. You're going to want to counter out with your Draco Mihawks. You're going to want to counter out with all this stuff. And even if you have to, counter out with Perona, because you can get that back as well with your Gecko Moria. Very, very important effect there. Very, very good to understand. Now, there's a little combo package down here. The new Jinbei allows you to play out a 4 cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea type character other than Jinbei. That would be insane, right? If it was like, okay, play Jinbei, into Jinbei, into Jinbei, into Edward Weevil, that would just be insane. That would be crazy. But the big play, there's 2 major plays with Jinbei that you should be looking for, and it is Gecko Moria to get a 2K counter back from your trash, or Edward Weevil to draw a card and establish a large body on the board, while establishing your Jinbei. So seeing Jinbei in your top 5 search with Perona or Doflamingo is absolutely ideal. You want that. You see what I'm saying, guys? Like, you really, really want that. Okay? Pudding is just a really solid tech card. It's just one of those cards that can pop cards out of your opponent's hand and mess up their entire game plan. And it's a 4K body, which is not something to dismiss. Like, that is relevant. And then, like, the last but not... there's 2 more cards. I want to talk about this and then Boa. This Sanji is interesting. I'm not really playing with this card. I'm not really messing with it. In the place of Sanji, I'm actually running 2 Kaidos. And we'll see that in today's video. Excuse me. But this Sanji is not bad. Okay, it's playing out a card. And imagine if you do a top 5 search where it's like, okay, I'll play a Sanji out that loops into a Jinbei, which will loop into an Edward Weevil from my hand, or something like that. You see what I'm saying? It does have potential. Or the top end of it would be like Sanji into the next card the next card I wanted to talk about, Boa Hancock. This is a 6 cost, 8,000 power character that is insanely good. Okay, it's locking 1 attack out of the game from one of your opponent's characters, not leader, but characters, and then bottom decks a 1 or less. So I mean, this card is just good, right? It's just simply a good card, right? It just simply is. 6 cost, 8,000 power body. That's a vanilla body, right? With this insane effect. The only thing it doesn't have is a trigger, or excuse me, is a counter. So then it would just be busted, right? Then it would just be insane. So good stuff, guys. Everything you see here, it's all in there for a reason. All of the 2K counters are 4 cost 5Ks and then 1 that's a 4 cost 4K. But still, that's just such high value. It has so much synergy, guys. Really good stuff there. Okay, and if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. You guys know what to do. Now, let's hop into some games on the sim. We've got 5 games on the sim. Some pretty fun ones here. Let me move my face over. Pretty good stuff here. All right. Put that there. Well, I guess I can make my face a little bigger. Okay. Now, let me hit play. First game, we are going against Zoro. Roro Noro Zoro. or however you say that. I feel like this. I feel like you're supposed to roll the R like Roro no Rozoro. Does that sound too crazy or something? I don't know. It sounds like way too tough like that. All right, but anyway, so I go ahead and do a blind hit off the top there. Why is it doing this? I'm sorry, guys. It's so annoying. We have to go backwards. We have to pause it now. Pause. It keeps moving my mouse cord and it messes up. Okay, now play. Please don't do it anymore. Is it going to go away? Now it's not going away at all. Okay, it went away. There we go. Sorry, I was talking about the little thing at the bottom. So I do a blind flip there because I didn't get a Perona, so why not? Why not just try it? Because there's a lot of potential hits in the deck for a 4-cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea card off the top of your deck. I think you have like probably like a 1 out of 2, probably like a 50% chance to hit one. We'll do the math after the game. Okay, so he swings in for 6 there. I do a 2K counter. I take the other 5. I needed to get something in my trash. It's very important to do that, so that way I can get something back with my Gecko Morias. Okay, I'm going to smash in a face. I get an Edward Weevil. That gives me a 2K counter. And now I'm starting to get a pretty decent board and a decent hand. Notice I have a Gum Gum Rain. I played out a Perona, which is, I think I drew that from something. Or I might have drawn it for the turn. I can't remember. Oh, I probably said it with my Doflamingo. Sorry, guys. I got a little distracted by the chord shenanigans over here. But my hand is pretty good. I've got 2 2K counters in my hand. I have 2 characters on the board. Yeah, I just lost 1. I had 3. I have Gum Gum Rain and everything. So my entire goal this game is just to literally take out every single card he has on the board and aggressively counter out of what I have to. Okay, so he's got a 3K body. I'm going to swing into it with Perona because Perona is a special character. A slash character cannot swing into Buggy. Don't forget that, guys. It's very important. I'm going to swing 7 into there. Gecko Mori gets me back a 2K counter, and I'm going to go 9 at face. I'm just whittling him down. I'm getting slow. I'm slowly gaining advantage. I'm getting all this different value from cards like Weevil, like my effects like my Leader's Effect, cards like Gecko Moria. It's all starting to really show up. Okay, and I have a 7 Gravity Blade Raging Tiger for next turn if I need it. He plays out... I'm not going to give him this card, right? So he plays out that Zoro, and we're back at it. But I'm going to change the pace here a little bit because I need to establish one of these boas. You don't have a lot of time to establish your Boa Hancock. So right here, I'm going to swing for 6, and then I'm going to swing for 7, and not do the... Okay, so I did not mean to do that. I will say this right now. I do remember this game. I played it last night. I did not mean to do that with the effect there. I meant to Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Well, no, I'm sorry. This might not be the play I'm thinking of. There was a play that happened last night where I accidentally hit Activate Effect. But that ended up being really nice. Like, I really liked that play right there. I'm not going to lie. Now, he did pop my card. What did he just do there? Did he... Oh, I returned the card back to my hand. Sorry, I returned the card back to my hand to get a card out of his hand and so on and so forth. He plays out Uda. Maybe that was not a mistake. I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe that wasn't a mistake. But I know last night, I can't remember, but there was a game where I accidentally clicked to use the Leader Effect when I just wanted to swing for 7. Okay, so right here, I'm going to do all this. You know, what did I do there? I swung for 6 there. Oh, no, it was on his turn, and I did some countering or something. I missed it, guys. I'm so sidetracked now. I'm sorry. Swing for 7 with Edward Weevil. And how did he get rid of my Boa? Oh, he round-tabled. I remember now. He round-tabled my Boa, popped it with Robin, and he got the Robin back with the Uda, which was interesting. Okay, so I'm kind of just locking him out of this game, and he just leaves. Yeah, I was constantly locking him out of the game with these chain Boas. Boa Hancock is probably the absolute best 6-cost to chain together in the game now. If you guys can think of a better one, by all means tell me. Boa is just so good at chaining together to lock your opponent's board up while establishing big bodies. So really good stuff there. Okay, so that was versus Zoro. Next game is versus Nami. Now, I'll tell you what, guys. This deck has a very, very solid matchup against Nami. Because... You're running nothing but 4-cost 5Ks, pretty much. You know what I mean? Or something very close to that. 3-cost 4Ks, 4-cost 5Ks, even 4-cost 6Ks. And that's how you beat Nami, is you go super wide, and if you can generate any tempo or momentum along the way, you do it. So right here, I had that set. I'm going to use it to make him bottom deck one of his cards. I get the 2K counter back to my hand, because I'm not in any kind of crazy rush right now, and he even took that last hit, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay, he's played out quite a few of these Kayas. That starts to concern me. That means he got a very good pull. He's able to cycle through his cards like that. I'm going to play out Perona here, and he is playing around my... so I am running what's her name? I am running the card you see there, Pudding, in my deck. So they're playing around my Pudding very well. So I just go ahead and put it, you know, I put it down towards the end of that. Okay, so he does a Sanji's pull off and pass the turn back. He has 4 life, but it's time for me to start using some... I need to start doing something, right? I need to start getting a few hits in, and at the same time developing my board. I guess I didn't technically have to swing there with Doflamingo, but oh well, not a big deal. I've got all these 2K counters. What else am I going to use them for? It's nice to bait them into attacks if they want to do that. Play out Gecko Moria. Not really much to get back. I think I got back a 2K counter. Use it again. Sanji's pull off. Double Sanji's pull off. This guy got a really solid pull. And of course, as soon as I put the Pudding at the bottom of my 5 cards, this guy goes crazy drawing cards. It would have been so insane to just drop a Pudding right here. It would have been so good. So I'm going to swing 6 here. He doesn't have a lot to counter out of this. This is a good turn to establish stuff. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep the Pudding on top this time, but I do want the Boa as well to get rid of that Kaya. Okay. And that's that. And now watch, he counters, and it's like, oh, great. So I play out the Jinbei, playing out the Gecko, getting a 2K counter back. Your turn. He goes Sanji's pull off. He swings for 6 into my guy there. Not too big of a deal. I'm actually fine with that one going away. And now, he's got quite a few cards in hand. I should have done my Kaya here. I should have used my Pudding right here, I think. But I don't think I do. Because he has so many cards in hand. I go ahead and develop my Dragon here. No, I don't. No, I definitely don't develop the Dragon. Sorry, because he doesn't have... I was checking right there. I was like, wait a minute. He doesn't have 3 or less life. Don't forget, guys. If you want to develop the Dragon, they have to have 3 or less life. So, in other words, what I should have done here is, like I said, I should have just played out Pudding and got 3 cards out of their hand. They get a brand new random jumble of garbage for the hand. And then that, you know. So, it's like, you know what? And then he ends up... I play out the card for no value, and he bottom decks it with Red Rock. Just a straight-up play mistake. Shouldn't have been done like that. I'm just playing in hard mode, right? I'm just playing in super hard mode here. Okay, so I'm going to play out... So I'm going to swing... Hang on. I think I'm going to swing for like 6 to 7K with every card and develop the Boa. Okay, so swing... Yep, so swing 6 4 times here and develop Boa. We'll bottom deck that card. It's all we can do. And I'm actually feeling pretty good here still because they're down to 3 life. I have all these cards here. He does hit me with a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Not a lot of Nami decks are running that card, but they should be. That is a very, very good card. It just slowed me down in an entire... It gave him an entire turn. But I don't have a lot to play here, so I'm just going to play what I can. Going to swing 7s. Lots of 7s here. He only has 2 cards left. He bounces a card back. I was going to play out a blocker this turn anyway. I'm setting the card I want on top. Swing 7. Play it out. Draw a card from that. And then he Red Rocks that card from his life. He gets the trigger. Seems good. And yeah. But even with... Okay, so consider that for a second. I did not exactly play the best this game. Like, in fact, I made some major play mistakes. And I was still able to beat this Nami, who started off with, like, triple Kaya, triple Sanji's pull off, and got some pretty good triggers from life. So that should show you this leader is very solid into Nami. And I think my opponent was doing very well, by the way. Okay, they're down to 10 cards left. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I'm feeling really good at this point, actually. Okay, that Pudding is absolutely worthless now. So he did a whiteout trying to get a card, and so he's got 9 cards left in deck. I don't think he has any way of winning this realistically. So I swing for 6 to get 1 card out of hand. Got the whiteout. Swing for 7. I'm just going to keep going up with him and match it, and then do 1 big swing at the end. Good game. That was a pretty good Nami player, I will say. Like, it seemed like they were making very good plays, and I played absolutely miserably, unfortunately. Some people have been asking me to show like games of me losing lately, and guys, I'll have to figure something out for y'all. Maybe I'll make a compilation of me just losing if that's all people want to see. But I'm trying to teach people how to win. Yeah, wouldn't that be great if I came out with an entire video of me just losing a bunch and be like, all right, here you go, guys. Here's how you lose. You know, I feel like it doesn't have the same merit. Like, it's like, why would I show those games? But don't worry, I do plan on starting to stream very soon for people who just want to see me lose, because I lose plenty of games, guys. Do y'all see? Let me pause real quick. Do y'all see the games, like some of the decks that I play? Let me give you guys a hint. I don't win every game. Not even close. No one does. But the point is, like, I lose enough to not want to show how much I lose. You know what I'm saying? When I'm trying out these insane beta janky decks that just aren't meant to win. It's like frustrating. You just be watching straight losses a lot of times, because that's another thing that I do when I'm building these videos is I'm trying to fine tune the deck and get it to a certain point where it's like, okay, You know, this is ready to go now. After losing 15 straight games, now I have a deck that can actually compete. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I lose 15 straight games, but every now and then you come across a leader where it's like, whew, there's a reason people don't play this one, you know, and it's no offense to the leader or people who like that leader. It's just, it is what it is, right? It is what it is with how Bandai does stuff, and, you know, they're trying to balance the game. Okay, let's restart this one. Sorry about that, guys. I had to do a little miniature rant right there. I do have some plans in the future. I do want to start streaming soon, and I do want to start doing, like, reviews. Okay, so we got Doflamingo versus Marco. I get the perfect start with Perona, and this guy let me go first. I believe he had the choice to choose, you know, whether he wanted to go first or not. I go Perona. I play out, you know, excuse me, I start off with Perona. I cheat in the Doflamingo into play, set my next 5 cards, and this is a great start for Doflamingo. Being able to go like that is actually really solid because my Doffy already did its job blocking that attack for 6k. And yeah, so right here, I have a little bit of a change of plan where I end up playing out the Edward Weevil with the Jinbei because all I was going to be able to do was play out play out a Gecko Moria from the top of my deck, which I did set there. But I'd rather establish 2 bodies. Excuse me, and they're 2 bodies that he can't attack while still keeping up with my draws, so that my curve didn't get messed up from my top 5 searcher. Okay, so right here we got some choices. I'm going to swing 7, play out the Gecko Moria, get back the Edward Weevil, play the Edward Weevil to draw a card. I'm generating card advantage in the process of establishing a board, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. He's going to start off with a with the leader effect to fix his hand a little bit. He still has 7 Dawn for the turn, I believe. So he can red rock me very easily here. 6 into 4, I'm not, or 6 into 3, excuse me. There's no way I'm countering out of that. No point. And now he's just filling up the board, and he has that Ryuza card, or whatever his name is, or Raikuza, I think his name is, where if you attach 1 Dawn, all of your Whitebeard Pirates get plus 1,000 for the turn. Or on your turn, rather. So that's getting a little bit scary for me, right? That's getting a little tiny bit scary. So I cheat that card into play. I think that was a blind rip for that that Mihawk. But like I was saying earlier, guys, you actually have a decent chance of hitting that. Right here, I think I should, instead of playing out the Gecko, I wanted to get a 2k counter back, I think, or a top 5 arrangement. I can't remember. But I think I actually should have played out the 6 call, because notice I had 2 Dawn left. I should have just played out the Boa there, stop one of those, stop the Atmos from swinging this turn, and gone about my day. Okay, so he still has 8 Dawn to play with. He's done. He did an Ezo search, then he did a top 2, switch with his leader, or top 1 search. Excuse me. You know, the leader effect for Marco, guys. You draw the top card of your deck, and then you arrange. You can either put a card from your hand to the top or the bottom of your deck. He swings 6 into 4, gets rid of he's getting rid of my board here. I'm going to make him at least swing some attacks into this, so that way, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to counter out that 8k without dropping too many cards. So it's like, okay, let me counter out 1 more of these so I don't have to take 1 to face. Okay, and here we go. He does that. He plays out the ace, which cheats out the, what was it, the Ezo. But in this situation, he's at 1 life. Okay, so I smash into him here, get every card out of his hand. So now I can go 5 into 4. That card's going bye-bye. Then I'm going to lock that card down. Bottom deck is Ezo, and now I've got this card. I have 3 life. He can only swing 3 times on board, and my hand is very, very healthy. Right, so I don't feel like I'm in jeopardy of losing this game whatsoever, and my next turn is going to be followed up with a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I think this might have been the game where I know one of the cards in his hand was a Marco, unless he did some kind of top arrangement with his leader effect, and then he showed what the top card was with the ace, and I think it was a red rock, and I think he left it on top. Okay, so I don't think he played out the Ezo from the ace last turn. I believe it was a red rock he revealed and kept it on top. So I think I know his hand is a red rock and a 4-cost Marco. I could be wrong about that. I can't remember exactly. But either way, I'm feeling very comfortable this game. The ace can't attack. He only has 3 potential attacks. I have a body on the board he's going to want to take care of, and I have a full hand of cards. Right, my hand, I've got 8 cards in hand. I'm feeling completely fine here. Okay, so he is going to take a little bit of time. Guys, we got this in 2x speed. Let me show you. It's in 2x speed. We're just waiting on him to make his play. Okay, what's he going to do? He's going to load up here. He did a top search. So he cycled out one of his cards from his hand, potentially. And now he's going to load up his Raikuza or Ryuza, whatever his name is, and probably do some swinging. It would be very smart to get rid of my Gecko Moria. I think he should get rid of Gecko. Yeah, swing 6 into 3. That's good. One less thing to worry about, because he's down to 1 life. Right? If he does not establish a blocker this turn, the game is just over. Right? That's the you know, what's the expression? That's just the brass tacks, right? Like, you're not getting around it. Okay. He ends up playing out. So, okay. So I think I was exactly right, and I know the card in his hand. Oh, he got out of it so fast, man. That guy jumped out of that game. Hang on. Right. Let me see if I can get it. Right. Oh, I can't see it fast enough. I'm too slow, guys. All right, let me try one more time, and I'll try to just see what it is. It's a Rayquaza in hand. Okay, so whatever the case was, so he must have bottom decked the Red Rock earlier that I was talking about. But either way, we were able to get there. That was a good game. I think Red Blue Marco is so fun. I just don't think the guy was building it right. He was trying to build it with the no offense to that player if they're listening, obviously, because I don't know who they are. But I don't think you build the 5-cost ace into Marco, or yeah, into Red Blue Marco. I think you just go strictly into like a very heavy event version and go from there. All right, next game here we got against Kaido. I get to go first. I get a Perona search right away. I'm feeling really good about this. Boom, straight into Edward Weevil. He takes that hit there. He's probably going to, I think he swings 6 into my guy here. I'm easily able to counter out of this. Give him a 2K counter, who cares? And he plays out Black Maria. Trashes the top card of my life. You guys see where this game's going? Okay, that Kaido and OP08 will be decent, guys. I don't think it'll be bad at all. I don't know how good it will be, but I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be bad. Okay, so I swing for 6 here. I know what my top card is, but I'm choosing not to play it. Play out the Jinbei to play out that. I get my 2K counter, and I get past the card that was there, so that way I can stay on my curve, for my leader. And here we go. He plays out Pudding, does everything he just said, but guess what? I'm on 7 Dawn this turn. So I'm going to swing first, so he doesn't know what I'm going to do. Swing 5, swing 5, swing 6, swing 6. And now remove 2 6-cost or lower characters from the board, and my opponent is down to 3 Dawn, and their Black Maria is gone, right? So that was an absolutely brutal play there. They lost everything, right? Okay, so he did that. He was able to ramp quite a bit, but bro, look at my board. You're in oodles of trouble. I still have 3 life, even after him using his effect. I think that Kaido will be very good, but I don't think you're going to want to try to like blitz, trash their life against a 5-life leader. I think you have to go about playing characters. So 7s, okay, play out this guy. Top search, I'm going to... Oh, right here I messed up a little bit. I was supposed to put Jinbei there. That was just a slip. Maybe that was the mess up I was thinking of earlier, guys. I don't remember. Whatever the case is, that was not supposed to happen like that. I was supposed to play out Jinbei, which was going to play out the Gecko from my hand. But I probably wouldn't even play the Gecko out because my board would have been completely full. Okay, swing 7. All right, that's going to cost 2 cards out of hand. Let's see what he does. 2 cards out of hand or one of his blockers here. All 3 cards from hand. Okay, well now I'll just swing 6, swing 5, GG. Okay, good stuff there. That Kaido deck is very interesting, but I think it needs a lot of fine-tuning, and it has a lot of work to go before we have the perfect version of it. Okay, last game versus Katakuri. Okay, let me go 2x with the speed, and we're good to go. Excuse me. So this is not a good start for me. I do not have Perona. I do not have Doflamingo, but I top decked a Perona. Too little, too late. I'll use it next turn. I do a blind flip, and like I said, guys, there's probably like a 50% chance, if not higher, to get one of these cards from the top of your deck into play just doing a blind flip. And I get it. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not, right? You can get a... Hey, even for 50-50, one wins, one loses, right? So it is what it is. So right here, I do my top search. I need to make it where I have Gecko, or excuse me, I still have to use my leader's effect this turn. So I have Weevil there. So that's going to draw me into the Gravity Blade. Next turn, I'll draw the Pudding, and then I have 2 of the same 4 costs. I think they were 2K counters coming up after that. Hikidatsu's my my Weevil. That feels horrible. I get my Perfume Femur. I only run one of those, so I did want to keep it just in case. But here we go. He's going, or I know what the top card is, but is it worth running? I don't really necessarily think so. So swing here, play that out. Okay, I play it out anyway for the 2K counter, and I can still play out a card from hand if needed. Okay, he ends up taking that in, oh, I felt, so my play, I have it selected. I was going to play Pudding here. I did not expect for him to counter out of that attack for 7, and he didn't. But worst case scenario, instead of countering out, it was a trigger that caused him to trash a card. So let me just say this. That's one of the rare times I wish Sanji was just free, so I could have popped him for more with my Pudding. But that's okay. I still popped 1 card out of his hand and messed up his entire pool. So I'm feeling okay about it. The board state is fairly equal. I'm going to 2K counter out of that. I'm not going to let you get the free one there. Swing 6 or 7 into 5. I honestly think he's trying to play a 7-cost Lin this turn, so I'm going to counter out of it aggressively. And I believe he does. Yep. And I'm going to say, hey, go ahead. I'm going to trash a life. Now it's my turn. Unless you want to swing with that blocker, by all means, do so. Okay, so right here, I have to do things the right way. This is not a great turn for me, but it's also not a bad turn. Okay, where I need it, basically I need to just swing 6 into Gadatsu, get a card out of hand. Let's see what he does. Give me your blocker or give me a 1K. Swing 6 more. Okay. Same situation. Gives me a 2K counter. Well, now I'm going to have to remove 2 cards from the board. It was just a little too dangerous because I know he's trying to play Lin. Okay, plays out the Lin. 5 into 5. I have to save this so I can battle for the board. I'm going to save this one too. I run a lot of 2K counters in my version, guys, because I want to be able to counter aggressively and get the cards back from the trash with my geckos. So 5 into life, 5 into life. Probably, what do I have here? It's going to be 7. Play this card out. He gets a trigger from it. Seems good. But now I'm going to make it where that card cannot attack. And now, okay. I pass turn and he plays another Big Mom. So I only had 2 life. If my opponent was playing a little smarter there, I guess it would have been a little, technically it would have been a little bit greedy. But I think what I would have done first things first, I don't think I would have tried to establish Big Mom here. I would have probably tried to go for a game. Because you're not defeating, like you're not surviving my next turn, right? Realistically, if you play Big Mom. Because I'm going to have all my characters and you'll be able to KO one of them with your Lin. You know, theoretically. Like if I can't just counter out of the 5K and 5K attack. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I would have probably just tried to go for game though. Swing 7, 9, 11. Right? Or it probably could have been swing 8, 10, 11 or something like that. 5 into 4. I'm going to 2K counter out of this so he can only remove one of my characters. Yep, that's fine. And now it's my turn. And now I have to go for game here. There's really not a choice. I'm going to swing for 7. I'm not using the leader effect. He takes it. I'm going to swing for 9. And now, no matter what he gets, unless it's a blocker, then I'll be fine. Okay, he gets that. Now I'm swinging for 11 to right at face. GG. Good stuff. Okay, so this deck is very strong. I do think it will struggle a little bit into some of the meta. Red-Purple Law is hard for everybody currently. Hang on one second. There we go. Let me move my face. There we go. Red-Purple Law is just hard for anybody currently. There's no way around that. This is the list I was running that you saw me running at the end there. A few things. Kaido is actually decent in this deck because, remember, I prefer the Bounce Kaido, or for those who are not aware, I play the Bounce Kaido in Boa Hancock, the blue, mono blue Boa Hancock from OP07. I prefer that card in there because whenever you bounce a card and you have 5 or less cards in hand, you draw a card. Well, Doflamingo doesn't have any card draw. Like, notice the only card draw I have in this entire deck is an Edward Weevil and I guess technically a Gecko Moria, because it can grab cards back from the trash. So this is my only card draw, and then this one trigger. You know what I mean? So I think this card's actually very good in Doflamingo. But the other list we looked at was actually running it as more of like a Sanji for more tempo. It's almost like, hey, you kind of just have to go all in and get as much value as you can from your leader effect and cards that set your top life, or set your top 5 cards like Perona and like Doflamingo. So yeah, and don't worry guys, I will actually be doing another video on Doflamingo before you know it, as soon as we get access to some of the new cards, because I want, and when I say access, I don't mean just the spoilers on the site like I was saying earlier. I mean like the updating of the sim, so that I could try the new cards out and play with them and like get a feel for how that's going to go, and then I can tell you guys how much better or worse I think the deck is, blah blah blah, right? Which I think it's just going to get better, but there's plenty of room for improvement here. I think. I think the Kaido is just player preference, because one thing I will say is like, okay, so Kaido is really good, but you know what I almost wish I would have had in the place of it is just like Sengoku. For those who are not aware, this is what Sengoku is. This is a new card coming out in OP07. It's a top 5/7 Warlords Searcher. I would almost rather just have this card in the place of it, so I can, so even at just 2 of, like notice there's, I would only have 2 spots open if I remove this card. That's fine. Because I still want my turn 1 play to be Perona, and then turn 2 swinging with my leader and getting the value. And we have Doflamingo for later in the game for like the souped up version of Perona. But Sengoku's kind of nice, especially as like a 2 of, because theoretically, let's just go off pure theory, off pure like statistics and numbers. if I run 2 Sengoku, 4 Doffy, and 4 Perona, that's 10 turn, good plays that help me out, that help me get cards. And the one we want the least would be Sengoku because, we're trying to set things. We're not trying to mess up our top 5 search. We want those to be set with these cards. But if you have no other option, you'd at least be able to do this. And later in the game, this also does another thing. Notice, excuse me, this is a top 5 search of your deck for 7 Warlords of the Sea type cards. So I can grab something like Boa if I need it, or I can even grab something like Perfume Femur if I'm trying to go for game, or all these other 2K counters, like Law, Mihawk, and Crocodile. So I'm running 12 of the 2K counters, 4 of each of like the big ones, Law, Mihawk, and Croc, and then I'm still running 2 of the Gum Gum Rains because I've got a few bricks in here, If you're playing against decks that are fast enough, like 7 Warlords, or 7 Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, you can just ditch it with your Gum Gum Rain if you need to, or even Perfume Femur, or even Boa. Like there's and late in the game, if you have multiples of these in your hand, you might need to just like trash one with a Gum Gum Rain, Kaido, things like that. I really like the utility of this card. I'm a big fan of this card. And all of the 0 cost 3K counters. I think they're just really great utility cards. And I remember when they first came out, I thought they were so terrible. But now as the game has evolved, and there are cards that are so insanely good that don't have counters on them, it's like you just have to run them. Well, there's a situation now where you have too many of them in your hand, and now they're dead. Well, this card says, okay, no, now they're alive again. So really good stuff there. That's about it, guys, for this leader. I will at least show 7 Warlords of the Sea. Let me type in 7. Okay, so like there are a lot of other options you can mess around with. I've seen decks run Mihawk. This is 7 Warlords searchable. I've seen people run the Blocker Boa. I think this one's pretty good, but I think there's too much removal in the format to play this card. That's just me personally, at least at the time of me saying this. The other Edward Weevils are interesting. Like this is a 4 cost 5K. Dawn times 1 when attacking. You can bounce a 3 or less to the owner's hand. And there's another one as well. Excuse me. Where's the other Weevil at? I'm probably just like looking. I always look like right over these cards. This is the vanilla 3 cost 5K Weevil. Oh, here it is right here. This is the top 3 searcher or top 3 arrangement card for Edward Weevil. So there are some Edward Weevil tricks you can mess around with if you want to. I don't really recommend it. This card is interesting actually. It's just on play draw a card is just not enough for like an 8 cost card. Like if I'm going to play out a 6 or higher card, it's going to be like Boa Hancock, where I lock my opponent's character down or remove it from play, or like in Kaido's case, like draw 4 cards. Excuse me. What would you rather run? An 8 cost 10K that draws 1 card, or a 10 cost 12K that draws 4 cards? It's kind of like a no-brainer. Now, yes, this is at least searchable. Like the Mihawk is at least 7 Warlords searchable, but still, I think it's one of those things you have to pick and choose your battles, and that's not one worth fighting over. Just take the better card. You know what I mean? Oh, before I forget, let me count up how many different hits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times 4. Oh gosh, math. 28. 28, and then plus 2 for this. So there are 30 hits with this deck that off the top of your life. So, or excuse me, if you just do a blind hit with your leader, like with no Perona, no Doflamingo topping, or like adjustments, you have a 3 out of 5. So you have better than a 50% chance to hit a card from the top with your leader effect. Now the odds do go down if you have a bunch in your hand, right? Like if you have 5 4-cost Warlords in your hand, yeah, then the chances go down, obviously, right? That's just common sense. But the idea still remains like, okay, you have a very high chance of hitting them. Even still, you have a high chance. Like if you have if 5 cards in your hand are all 4 Doffys, and then like the other 25 are in your deck, let's pretend there's none in your life in this case, then you still have a 50-50 chance. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a very good chance to hit a card from the top, but it is still a gamble. You want to try to always set your cards with Perona and with Doflamingo. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. This is a 7 Warlords of the Sea card. This Love Beam, this is something worth considering. Same thing with Desert Spada. Same thing with Overheat, the card we were looking at earlier. Here's that Jinbei. This is going to be reprinted in the new starter deck. This Crocodile is interesting, and it would be worth running if it was a 5-cost 6K with a 1K counter. Otherwise, I don't think so. But it has Dawn times 1 on block. Place its 1 character that costs a 2 or less to the bottom of its owner's deck. It's very lackluster. Excuse me. It's very, very lackluster. But at the same time, it would have been nice having another blocker, especially like a 5-cost 6K blocker, something like that, which this deck does not have access to currently. But I think soon it will have access to a 4-cost 6K blocker in the new BOA. But again, we're going to have to wait on that. I have seen some decks run this card. I've seen some decks even run the double attack Gecko Moria. But generally speaking, I think what you see on the screen here is kind of the like a better, more refined version with the best flex spots being the Kaidos, Perfume Femur, and that is it, honestly. Like, everything else just feels so good in this deck. Like, it just feels really strong. But, like, I don't know. Let's just say, like, anywhere from 6 to 8 events is what I would run. And then you can mix and match that how you need to with whatever boss character you want to run, like Sanji or maybe the other 10-cost Bounce Kaido or the 9-cost Mihawk, because this is searchable if you do choose to mess with Sengoku and things like that. Okay, that's it. That's enough rambling, guys. Really, really fun deck. I don't know exactly how to say it. I don't think it has the... I think it... How do I... Okay, hang on. I think this leader is really strong, but it will struggle into certain decks, into certain decks in the meta. Okay, Red Purple Law can just get a pull where it just beats you. This deck has a lot of answers to deal with Red Purple Law. I keep calling this 7 because I see the 7 there. 7 Warlords of the Sea. It tricks me every time. But Gravity Blade Raging Tiger can remove 2 of Red Purple Law's characters off the board. But if you're not able to develop a board before then, it's going to be for nothing. And that's where I think it is probably smart. Excuse me. I think it's going to be smart on choosing your 9-cost Kaido over something like this if you plan on playing against a lot of Red Purple Law players. Okay, in your area, in your meta, if you're going to a big tournament, I would take this Kaido out and I would go in the Sanji. And Sanji's not even he's not 7 Warlords of the Sea, but it doesn't matter because it's like, okay, I'm going to play out this 9-cost 9K that they're probably not going to be able to remove realistically. And then with this, you're going to play out like a Boa. So now you've got an 8K, a 9K, you shut down one of their characters, and now you can do what you need to for the turn, and hopefully it's enough. But I do think that Doflamingo has a decent matchup into Red Purple Law. I don't think it's bad at all. Because look at this. 4K is the smallest character you're going to play. Other than... Who cares about Perona? The point is, like, the smallest character you're going to play is a 4K with Doflamingo and with Pudding. Pudding's not insane against Red Purple Law because they usually go up to 7 with Reiju and then go back down to 5. So I don't think Pudding is, like, the most insane card versus Red Purple Law. But cards like Gravity Blade are... ways to generate tempo and put down double bodies every turn. Very, very important, guys. Very important. Excuse me. But yeah, I think changing this out for something like the 10-cost Kaido that bounces 2 characters, or maybe even the Sanji to cheat characters into play, or even Mihawk that bottom decks a character, I think that's the way to go if you plan on playing against, if you're trying to be as competitive as possible and deal with Red Purple Law. Otherwise, I think this deck has enough tempo where you can kind of go toe-to-toe with Lucci. I think it's still going to be good games. But remember, one of Black's worst enemies is this one right here, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Okay, same idea with Black Yellow Luffy. Like, oh, they have a Sabo and a Luffy on the board, a 5-cost Sabo, 5-cost Luffy. No problem. Bottom deck, both of them. They're gone now. So I think this deck has a pretty solid matchup into Black Yellow Luffy and a pretty decent matchup. I'll say decent matchup into Red Purple Law. I'm not saying it's great, but I think it's very winnable, especially if you make a few adjustments. Like, I don't know. There's probably even some argument to just drop these 2 Kaidos for maybe even 2 more removal events. Maybe in like, let me type in event real quick. I forget the 3,000 Worlds. So let me bring up the events real quick. Like a card like, where's right in front of me. 3,000 Worlds, just get rid of their Eustace Kid right on curve. Like, there's a lot of things that can be done there. But it's going to come down to what tech choices you think you need to make. Okay, it's going to come down to what you think. Okay, that's enough. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, if you have any suggestions on like how to make this list better, please put them in the comment section below, guys. We're always trying to take these decks to the next level. And like I said, I want to say it one more time. I know I've said it like 3 or 4 times now. When all the cards get like officially translated into English on the Bandai website and they get updated on the sim, I plan on revisiting this leader using the new cards. Because this is one of those leaders I do want to say one more thing about. I really like this leader. I like how tempo it feels and how it rewards skilled play. You have access to removal. You have ways to like set the top 5 cards of your deck and then get value from that. I think this is a very skill-intensive mid-range deck. And I think it's like a perfect, like it's like the quintessential mid-range deck where you're attacking not super fast or anything, but you're able to fill up the board and you have access to just enough removal to control the craziness and keep the game like within your reach, right, in your hands. Like you're taking things into your own hands. So I'm a big fan of this deck, and I hope it continues to get support, and I think it will be getting some good support in ST17 or whatever the new starter deck number is for it. All right, so that's it for that, guys. One more thing. We're going to have to knock out a quick art critique. Put on the glasses, you know, according to my calculations here. Okay, we got an art critique. Kouzuki Oden. So one thing has always been interesting to me about Kouzuki Oden is I get major like sumo wrestler vibes from him, and I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, now he doesn't have like the ornaments in the front, but this looks like the Yokozuna ribbons going on in the back here. Let me see if I actually had it brought up over here because I wanted to bring it up to talk about it. Okay, we got some crazy sumo wrestling pictures coming over, guys. Bear with me. All right, so typically like the Yokozuna, like for sumo, they have these like little ornaments in the front of their, you know, their cloth down there, whatever you want to call that. But look in the back, guys. Use your you gotta pay close attention here. I won't let me zoom in. Oh well, look in the back. You see this little bow back here? I think that's what they base it off of. And you guys tell me. You know, I know you guys know way more about the anime. Most people know way more about the anime and the manga than I do. But I think that's kind of like where they get some of the inspiration for Kouzuki Oden. And also notice the hair. Like check this guy out if it loads in. Yeah, there we go. Notice the hair, how it's very stylized. It's almost turned into like a hat. Is that what's going on? Let me move this over. Is that what's going on with Kouzuki Oden here? Is that his hair or is that a hat? I love the chops, man. Okay, look at these chops right here. These are incredible. Like the you know, the sideburns that go down to the beard, incredible. Okay, very very manly, very macho, very masculine, and he's got, like I said, he's got those Yokozuna bows and ribbons back here and stuff. He's just missing the front piece, but really really cool stuff there. Now as far as the piece itself goes, you've got the flowers falling, which is just absolutely gorgeous. It kind of has a different effect when you're talking about, like, how do I say this, you know, when you're doing an anime or when you're doing a comic book, you're trying to tell a story. Okay, you still have artistic liberties and stuff like that. You can do things however you want to, but you still are trying to do something in particular. But when you're doing stuff on a card, you can kind of break away from the narrative. Not completely. The narrative is still very much known by the context from the stuff we see in the picture. But it's very nice that they can kind of break away from it. And, like, you know, let's just make this card cool looking. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of it being a cool looking card. Like the flowers coming down just looks so awesome. Hang on, let me try to zoom up here. There we go. The flowers coming down, the hair the way it is. He's the centerpiece of this. As usual, we got one hand pushing into the front. We got one hand extending way back. I don't even know what he's doing. I can't see anything in his hand. I was going to say maybe he has a sword, but no, we see his two swords here. So I don't know what he has in his hand up here, or if he's just doing some kind of dance or something, because that's also something, if I'm not mistaken, there's some type of ceremonial dance that sumo wrestlers do. And I would not be surprised if that is in some way related to this picture. And one more thing I do want to draw attention to, I hate zooming in like this because the pixelation becomes ridiculous. But look at these little droplets back here, like on the water. It looks so good. It adds so much to the picture. And there's one other effect too that's going on here. Let me zoom in, recenter it. Notice how there's kind of like in today's day and age, kids would call these filters, like how there's almost like a yellow tone filter that just goes over the entire piece. That looks so incredible for this one. I was so sad that this character was not better than it was when it was revealed, because I thought, oh man, this art looks great. The line work is incredible. By the way, the line work is absolutely incredible. Looks like it's by an artist named hang on, I gotta zoom out. Nah, I still can't see it. Like Makatoshi might be their name, but whoever it is just did incredible. Like, look at this line work, guys. Look at the hand. The hand is so clean. You can see everything. It just looks so good. Now, there's not a lot of shadows in this one. There's not a lot of shading going on. It's very just, you know, full on color. But because of the filter effect that they put on it, like kind of toning the entire image in a yellow, it just looks so good, guys. I'm a really big fan of it. But yeah, all right, that's enough of that. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Do you guys wish this character was a little better? Because I definitely wished it was a little bit better, because it just looks so cool. 7 cost, 7K. Like, that part's all great, but the effect's a little bit wonky. Okay, that's enough of that. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys. Let me get up the playmat supporter page here. Big shout out to everybody who got a playmat, the VV Pirates playmat supporters here. There are some left. I'm down to about half now. I think I'm down like 55 or so left. So if you still want one, I'll link the video down in the comment section below for the steps to get it. It's, you know, it's not complicated. It's just, you know, you got to know what to do. So we still got some of those. Big shout out to everybody who's already gotten one. And then also another big shout out to all of my VV Pirates patron page supporters here. Thank you guys so much. You guys are making it, you know, making this whole thing possible. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you to everybody who likes, subscribes, shares, comments, and just watches my videos. All 5 of those things I said help feed the algorithm. They help keeping this channel popular, you know, and like popping off and everything, because it really has been lately. And I just want to thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. Okay, like I said, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys got any comments, questions, suggestions, please leave them down in the comment section below. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.